Hello everyone. Today we're going to conduct a test of the cooking system that I'm trying to devise using a 300-watt rice cooker right here. The plan is to try to cook a full meal of rice. As you can see here, I've already got the rice and water. I put enough rice and water in there for what I would normally eat like for the entire day. The plan would be to cook the rice like in the morning, and then I'd have it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And I also have some pork butt steak here, which I got from a local store here called Thrifty. It's only $2.86 for the pack. As you can see, it's very thin. It's frozen right now, so I'm letting it thaw out as I cook the rice in the rice cooker using the inverter. Now, some people have questioned I guess the feasibility or intelligence of using an inverter to cook. The plan isn't to always cook with the inverter. It's just an option that exists if you're in the middle of nowhere and you want to cook using electricity. I do have a propane system that I can use when I'm completely off grid if I need to fry things up and just cook. And I can also build a fire. But having access to electricity and the ability to cook using this rice cooker simplifies cooking, basically. I have a sandwich maker that I've already tested that works off the inverter, and we know that the unit can at least cook rice. And I tested cooking some food on grid with 120 volt access, and it cooked fine. So now I'm going to go ahead and try to cook the whole system, the whole dinner or the whole meal, with rice and the pork butt steak. So if I'm able to do that, then for me that's great, because then I have the capability to have a decent meal wherever I go, whether I'm on grid or off. Now, one of the bonuses of using a 120 volt appliances is simply that I can use it in a lot of the parks around here in Florida. We have parks with 120 volt access. They're on the beach. They're not even on the beach. They're in just different parks. You just go to a picnic bench, and they have the outlet there for you to use. By having this equipment with me, I can cook with free power, basically, that they provide at the parks. And when they don't, I can use my vehicle to power it. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and try it. I'm going to go ahead and actually attempt to cook this rice and the pork chops, or the pork butt steak here, for a complete meal in one setting, and we'll see how the battery holds out, how the inverter works, and whether or not it doesn't work. So let's go ahead and start the test. Okay, to start the process, I'm just simply setting the meat out and letting it thaw out. The reason for this is it should save on cooking time, and I'll take advantage of this thawing process while I'm actually cooking the rice. Now I'm going to head over and start up the vehicle and get the inverter going and let the rice cook, and I'll let you know what happens. Okay, here we are. I've started up the vehicle, as you can see, and that will help to charge the battery up as we're draining it. So let's go ahead and come on over. And here's our 750 watt Underhood inverter, which I'm going to go ahead and turn on. Well, I got to plug it in here. Let me hook it up. Alright, get that all hooked up. Now we're just going to turn the unit on. As you can see, it's coming on right now. It's pulling 21 watts, which means the rice cooker is already on warm mode. Because when I set it to cook, it should jump up to 300 something watts. I don't know if you can see it, but the warm light is on, so it's on warm. And what I'm going to do is push the cook button, and the red light for cook should be coming on, which it did. And what we're going to do is just let this cook, and then as soon as it finishes, we'll try to cook up the pork butt steak to eat with it. Oh, before I pause the video here and shut it off, I just wanted to show that with the rice cooker on, which is rated at about 300 watts, you can see we're pulling 307 right now. And the vehicle's running, the battery's charging while we're pulling out 300 watts to use for cooking. So I'll check in on the rice and let you know what happens. Okay, it's been about 20 minutes or so, and the rice is still cooking. While the rice was cooking, I went ahead and the meat had thawed out, so I went ahead and cut it up into pieces so that it'll fit into the second rice cooker. Now I've added a little bit of oil. I don't know if you can see it in there. I added a little bit of cooking oil in there, and you know I like this total seasoning, and I put it on the pork butt steaks here. I put it on the front and the back, as you can see, so they're ready to go. And then I'll be adding some chopped onions and a little bit of soy sauce for flavoring. So essentially the plan will be that once the rice cooker here pops, when it's done, which as you can see the rice inside, I don't know if you can tell in this video here, but the rice is almost cooked. Once the rice cooks, I'll remove that pot in there, and I'll put this one in there with the steak to cook. So let me go ahead and put the steak in. And all I'm doing is just laying it down and trying to make sure that it all has contact. So let me get this all in there and then show you what we've got. And as you can see, the pork butt steak is kind of thin, which will probably help with cooking. I don't know if you can cook really thick meat in here, but you probably could. It just might take longer. But as you can see, I've laid the pork butt steak out, and I'm trying to give it as much contact as I can to the bottom, which is where the heating element is. So here, I'm laying it all out, go like that. And then I will add some onion here. This is chopped onion. You could probably use fresh stuff, but for travel, it may be easier to take dried stuff like this. And then I'm just going to add a little bit of soy sauce for flavoring. And that's pretty much it. Then it's just a matter of putting it onto the rice cooker and seeing if it actually cooks, and I'll share the results. So hang on and we'll continue. I don't know if you can see, but I've added the soy sauce. So now I'm just kind of slushing it around to coat everything. And it's just a matter of waiting for the rice cooker to finish cooking the rice, and then we'll pop that in there and see how well it does. Okay, it's been about 25 minutes or so since we started, and as you can see, the inverter is now showing 21 watts being pulled, which tells me the rice is cooked. So let's go ahead and have a look at that. And you can see the rice is indeed cooked off, totally off the inverter. So what I'm going to do now is actually remove the rice and put in my other pot here with the meat. You are not going to want to touch that that pot with your bare hands because it is hot. So let me get this glove on here. I've got a little mitt. I'll go ahead and lift this off. Take my rice off and let it sit here. Then I can put the meat on here and then set that to cook. Let me move this. Okay, so while the rice is waiting there, I'm going to go ahead and hit the button here again and set it on cook, and we'll check in on our meat over here and see how it does. So it's cooking again. Let's double check the inverter, and power should be back up to 300 and something. So here we can see we're pulling out 306 watts, and let's take a look and see what the battery looks like. Okay, the battery's showing about 12.9 volts left, 13 volts, so it's still pretty good. The power cord doesn't feel hot, so that's a good sign. And what I'll do is pause this tape or this video here and then come back once the food is done. Just thought we'd take a peek in here, and you can see that it is boiling. So The rice cooker gets hot enough to obviously boil water and boil oil and the soy sauce in there, so it is cooking. And what I'll probably do is get a fork or something and flip the meat over. But this has only been sitting here like 1 or 2 minutes, since we went to the front and came back here. So it's definitely cooking. Okay, it's been a few minutes, so I thought I'd go ahead and flip the meat. But you can see even after a few minutes, it's already brown. So it's definitely cooking. I'm gonna go ahead and flip it over. I would say it's probably even done already, but I'm gonna let it sit probably for another 10-15 more minutes and let it cook. Put the lid back on it and let it finish up. But it seems like the system works. Alright, it's been about 10-15 minutes since we put the meat in here, and you can see it's pretty much cooked. So I'm going to say that this experiment was a success. All that remains to be done now is just power the system down, scoop up my rice and the pork butt. Let's go take a look at the inverter and see how the battery's doing. Okay, it's still pulling 305 because this one won't shut off to say it's done, so we're just going to go ahead and power it off. Actually, wait a second, I need to power it back on. Okay, the initial surge, it's back to 305. Now let's take a look and see how much power is left. So the battery's down to 12.9, 12.8, 12.9, 12.7. So I'm going to shut the inverter off. And now the battery would actually charge fully back up to its previous level of like 13 point something. The plugs here are warm. They're not like hot like they were the other day when I used the sandwich maker. So even though we ran the 300 amp rice cooker to cook the rice and the meat, the steak, the pork butt steak that we just made, I think this is a doable system. When I cook the rice on the road, I'll probably be, actually when I'm cooking the rice or the steak, most of the time I'll actually be at a picnic table somewhere where they have power outlets. But it's nice to know that I have the capability to cook using electricity completely off-grid, and I can get a decent meal. So I guess that's about it for this video, other than showing you what the food looks like. Okay, so here then is my meal for today for lunch. Freshly cooked rice with pork butt steak. And I think to complete the meal I might throw in a bagged salad and some salad dressing. But you can see it is doable. Would I do this every day? That remains to be seen. Most of the time, like I say, I'm probably going to be cooking using the rice cooker here at a park or something that has a 120 volt outlet that I can plug into. So I won't even need to use my inverter. But it's nice to know that I have the capability to make a meal like this even when I'm completely off grid. So bon appetit everyone. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up, share, and subscribe if you enjoyed it. Thank you.